Okay, in this video, we are going to find domain and range from continuous graphs in interval notation. So interval notation means we are going to be using brackets and parentheses. With domain, we always read from left to right, and range, we read from bottom to top. All right, so the first thing I like to do is look at my graphs, and I like to label important information. So if I see arrows, I'm going to write down what these arrows indicate. So this arrow is indicating that this graph is going to the left, and it's going in the up direction. It's going up, left and up. This arrow is indicating a direction of right and also up. Okay, and the other important piece of this graph that I want to focus on is this point right here, because it's the lowest point on my graph. And that coordinate would be 0, -2. Okay, so now we can jump into domain and range. So domain is my x value. And again, when we're talking about the x-axis, we're talking about the directions of left and right. So because of my labeling, I can see that this graph goes all the way to the left and all the way to the right. So that means I don't have any restrictions. So it's all real numbers. And in interval notation, we would write that as -infinity to +infinity, separated with commas and using parentheses. For range, okay, again, you're reading from the bottom up, so I have nothing here. My graph starts at 2, and it's going to continue up forever and ever and ever. So forever and ever means that this is going to be +infinity. Okay, forever and ever up is +infinity. Forever down is -infinity. Forever to the right is +infinity. And forever to the left, -infinity. So because I read this from the bottom up, that means my graph starts at -2. Okay, and it includes the point -2, so I'm going to use a bracket, and it continues forever and ever in the positive direction. So that would be to +infinity. All right, let's go ahead and label this one. Okay, I have a line here. So when I have a line, this arrow is going left and down, and this arrow is going to the right and up. Okay, so one thing you'll notice, we didn't have to put any numbers down here. We only have direction. So if we're going all the way left, all the way right, that means it's -infinity to +infinity. And all the way down and all the way up, again, would be -infinity to +infinity. Okay, so for my domain and range, if I have a line that has a slant to it, that has a slope, okay, it's always going to be -infinity to +infinity for both. All right, let's go ahead and let's label this. So on my arrow here, I'm going right and up. This arrow is going to the right and down. And I need to focus on this point because that is where my graph starts. So that's at the point 1, 2. So again, looking at domain and range, I'm looking at my values from left to right. So my graph is not over here. My graph starts right here. So my x value is at 1. And it's going to continue forever and ever to the right. So that would be +infinity. Okay, and because we're touching that, we're including point 1, it's a bracket at 1 to +infinity. Looking at range, I'm looking at my up and down direction. If I'm going all the way up and all the way down, that means I have no restrictions. So that would be -infinity to +infinity. Okay, let's just do a couple more with interval notation. So again, I'm going to label, this is going left and down. This arrow is going right and up. Now, you may be tempted to be looking at these points, but when we're talking about domain and range, we're always looking for any point on the graph, okay? So even though it kind of looks like we have a range of values here within this area, this arrow is going to indicate that my points go all the way up, and this arrow indicates that my points go all the way down. So because I'm going all the way to the left and all the way to the right, that means it's negative infinity to positive infinity. And because I'm going all the way up and all the way down, again, that's negative infinity to positive infinity. All right, let's look at this one. This is the negative 2, 6. And this arrow is indicating a direction of right and down. So my x values are going to start at negative 2 and go on to the right forever. So they start at negative 2, and it's parentheses because it's an open circle. And we go on forever to the right, so that's positive infinity. My range, and again, I want to make sure I'm reading from bottom to top because I'm going down forever. That means I start at negative infinity, and I'm going to continue on to a range, a y value of 6. Okay, last but not least, let's do this one. So this arrow is indicating we are going left and down. This arrow is going left and up. Okay, I do need to pay attention to this point right here, which is at negative 4, 4. Okay, so when I'm talking domain, I'm going all the way to the left, and then I end, my furthest point to my right is at negative 4. It's going to be negative infinity to negative 4. And it's a bracket because I'm including that point. And for my range, all the way up, all the way down, means I'm including all my y values. So negative infinity to positive infinity.